throughout last year.
There's a lot of respect between these two teams too, so that's something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at today's schedule and see where we started out. It was in Europe at 9 a.m. Pacific time this morning. Team Dignitas getting a nice 3-0 series victory over Tricked Esports, starting to come into their own when it comes to synergy with their new player Xylia. And then Misfits losing one game to Playing Ducks, but otherwise taking the series as well.
And then Tempo Storm just beat B-Step 3-0, as we just said. Pretty close games, but in the end, obviously, Tempo Storm was the more dominant team there. And then now we are where we are. And again, if you guys have not catched any of the VODs, heroesofthestorm.com/esports, that's the place to check it out. We've got everything going on. You even have the opportunity to choose whether or not you want to see the results beforehand. You know, no spoilers on the VODs. It's pretty awesome going through it.
Yeah, that website is incredible. Big shout out to Blizzard for making that happen, because I know it's been such a great resource already. But we are ready to get into the matchup between No Tomorrow and Team Naventic. So let's hear what those two teams have to say about each other.
No Tomorrow actually has potential to be top 4. Like, I love almost everyone on that team. Like, Urho's really chill. Tiger is one of my good friends. Jason was on our team, and I consider him like a little brother in the scene. Jason's like, I would say Jason's like baby Zuna. Like, he can play a lot of heroes, and he can pick something up fast. When he joined our team, we gave him a hero he didn't know how to play. He picked it up in like 2-3 days, and he can play like almost every single role, which is like why we loved him so much. But it's just when we decided to get B-Kid, it was more like Jason was still learning tank, and we didn't know how long it would take for him to be the best tank, and we wanted a top tier tank at that moment.
My thoughts on Naventic is that long time friends. I know Ken and Zuna, they've been my friends since I almost started playing the game. I have a lot of respect for that team, and I can't wait. They're personally one of my favorite teams that I want to play.
I like them a lot. They're a good team. It's just, I think one of the things is that they haven't been playing as a 5 unit yet, so once they actually mesh, I think they'll be super strong.
I think Naventic is actually a very strong team. Honestly, out of every team we play, they seem to be the strongest. Like, I'm not scared to play them, but out of anyone else, I think they're definitely the best.
So, yeah, Tiger JK he's a pretty, I've talked with him a lot. I've been friends with him for a long time. Obviously, Urho and me have a long history together. We tried to build a team together, and then we played together on Bob Ross and Naventic for a while. He's a very strong mechanical player in my opinion, and if they stay together and they keep on building, I think they could be a threat for top 3 for sure.
You know, we talk a lot about rivalries being the rivalry of Naventic Gale Force, right? Where the teams just don't really like each other, and so that fuels them to want to defeat each other. But in this case, it's a different kind where they have this mutual respect. A lot of the members are friends or even been on teams together. So how does that change things going into the series, or the mindset for these two teams?
If it was very, very recent, and it can come down to, you know, intricacies in the draft, really small team opinions one way or the other. But more than anything, I think the shot calling. If you've been able to experience the decision-making of your opponents, you constantly know the thought process and the steps that they want to make in order to really further their advantage. And that might be something that No Tomorrow, especially with Urho and the amount of time he spent on Naventic, could really make a big comeback.
What was really interesting to me in that video, too, was the relationship between Biggie and Jason. Biggie himself has been one of those players who has been quietly this unsung hero for the team. And then on the other side, too, I feel like Jason has always been that way, too. One who can play just anything that is needed from him and play it well, like when he was temporarily the warrior for Naventic.
Yeah, he just seems to be really kind of trying to find his place. Surprisingly, for all the high praise he's managed to happen, the only breakthrough team, you know, up in the upper echelon of North America he's ever been able to be a hold of was that version of Naventic where he was on that roster. So we'll see if that changes for him in the future. But for now, with No Tomorrow, it's something he's got to be able to figure out now.
We've been hoping for a long time to see Jason assume that role of playmaker for the team. Talking Trees has a little bit too. He had some great Li Ming play in his last series, some Gul'dan too. But I want to see Jason get there. And I don't know if Tychus is right here. They keep putting on Tychus.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's the right one for him. But let's take a look at our Battleground pool for the Heroes Global Championship. Team Naventic is the home team. They will have the first Battleground pick, and almost certainly that will be Battlefield of Eternity.
Yep, it is. Naventic going to be taking themselves to the map that everybody kind of expects out of them. At least they're most successful in the North American scene for a long period of time. They've been pretty successful so far with it. I expect them to have complete control for the majority of this game. A lot of it's going to come down to No Tomorrow being able to adapt, being able to work together, I think is the very most important step here for No Tomorrow.
Well, Naventic have had a whole weekend to prepare themselves for this match, but No Tomorrow played yesterday versus Superstars. We'll see what they're able to bring to the table, especially when you have a series versus teams that scrim together often, which it kind of sounded like the teams were alluding to. As the series goes on, things can get a little strange, so we'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, and I don't believe we've actually managed to be able to see No Tomorrow take on Battlefield of Eternity yet, whereas it's the exact opposite. We have 2 games for Naventic in their draft there, so No Tomorrow should have a general understanding in the direction that we expect Naventic to be able to move down. And hopefully we do see some adjustments like we much saw from Tempo Storm and B-Step in the last series on the draft, you know, changing their approach to the game a little bit. Hopefully we see that as well for No Tomorrow, especially with things like the Tychus.
When we look at Team Naventic too, they had a good focus on Ragnaros quite a bit. Very high Leeming too, so that may be somewhere they want to head here on Battlefield of Eternity. She is one that can help with damage, but they only won 1 out of the 5 games they played with her too, so that may be one type of adjustment they look to give. Both teams throwing out their bans. No Tomorrow is going to ban Tassadar. Team Naventic takes away Artanis.
There's the Ragnaros, no surprise there. And Malfurion Li Ming is a common rotation here for Naventic. But again, as you brought up, they have been struggling with their Li Ming. It is one of the better maps for her. So they see if they go that route. Probably maybe even her best map in her current form. Just purely on the fact that the poke is so threatening coming out from her in the long run, especially moving into that Triumvirate. We see at times Seeker route. More spell-oriented, less teleport build. But in Malf ETC, there's the adjustment, already showing the lack of Li Ming value. Now the question is, does No Tomorrow avoid the Tychus?
Yeah, I don't know. The task ban helps too versus Team Naventic because they have Team Naventic have run Task Tracer before on this Battleground, so that's another thing they're getting rid of, as well as just the fact that Tassadar is objectively so strong right now. Is it the Tychus, though? That's the big question. Like you mentioned, and we have talked about it, Jason has been on Tychus almost every game No Tomorrow has played. Only, I think, Greymane was one that we saw him switch to. Otherwise, Tychus has been a huge priority.
And they have felt rather comfortable on the Tyrael as well, compared to some of the other teams. Very few teams seem to be busting out that hero. So that might be a route. It might be a Tyrael Greymane decision here for No Tomorrow, considering the map. But there is going to be the Li Ming. And no exception, Tychus, he's coming out.
I do love Li Ming for No Tomorrow, though, because it's Talking Trees, one of Talking Trees' best heroes, too. Game number 1, the one game that they've won so far was the first one versus Superstars, and a lot of that came down to resets for Li Ming. Now, Team Naventic are looking at a Diablo ban. They already have ETC trying to get rid of these strong frontline warriors. It would have come down to probably either Diablo or a support, since they also have Malfurion. But there's a lot of options for Tiger JK still, especially on Battlefield. It could be something like Karzim.
Yeah, it's a good question on what they want to try and be able to remove here. No Tomorrow has, I mean, the obvious answer is going to be, you know, focusing towards the backline that they want to remove. But Battlefield of Eternity, that value is a little bit different. I think Valo would probably be the safest decision to be able to remove her for No Tomorrow here. Just because going into Q build on Battlefield of Eternity, the damage output that she has is insane, and then she still does Vala things, you know. She can hurt pretty well. Other than that, I think they would be more fearful of just anything with poke, consideration to the race, and this ban really kind of molds what you expect to see out of No Tomorrow on their last 2 rotations too. But they decide they are going to remove the Thrall.
Next 2 picks for Team Naventic, they probably will get some sort of other frontline person for Tomster. Greymane
I
is
just
one
want
that he's played
Greymane Tyrael.
before.
Just give me that rotation.
You want Greymane Tyrael?
I think the trio between the ETC Tyrael, I think everything about it is pretty strong. I love the Greymane. They don't have somebody necessarily for the 4-1 being the one. But you can use Greymane at time. It's a smart transition and rotations is all that matters. And with Task Tracer, Illidan isn't fearful at all on the set of No Tomorrow, so they could move that route. But either way, the Vala is going to be picked up.
Has there been much Zarya for Naventic, if at all? I'm looking through, and one game on Towers. So, oh wait, no, there's one other one on Curse 2, but definitely not on Battlefield of Eternity. I didn't know if they were still trying to make something work with Tracer. There's Tyrael, Greymane.
It's got to be the last one. I don't see them going any other pick now with locking in the Tyrael in that rotation. I think the Vala pickup probably even makes more sense than the Greymane there. Just, being able to lock that in, it helps with your race. A really awesome backliner. And then you can lock in the Greymane later into the draft because there's no Greymane opportunity on the side of No Tomorrow unless they're going to go Warrior list. So I like it. I like it a lot. I love the draft here for Naventic, whereas No Tomorrow has a lot of answers and only 2 picks.
They've been able to isolate the Warrior role very well, and it basically left Johanna as the choice for Erho to play. I know you'd like to be maybe on a more aggressive Warrior. Varian is still an opportunity. It's something that Naventic played before too, but he has really fallen off after opening week.
Yeah, I try to forget about the Varian picks, to be honest. Yeah, Johanna is going to be the lock-in. I think Varian has a spot, don't get me wrong. I do think that there is a position for him. That is not it. Solo Warrior here. And now Naventic, their last pick, as always, I think it will be the Greymane. Tomster made his career kind of on the hero. It complements the map, works with the composition. But they'll take their sweet time.
So then who plays Tyrael? So I guess Zuna will be on another one of the Warriors, or they put Big E. Seems kind of weird.
Yeah, that is true. It will kind of force them, to make some adjustments on who's going to be onto what.
Zuna used to be the Warrior player for the team, so it's unheard of, but will he be willing to give up
playing a backliner? Because that's where he feels like he can carry the most
He
from.
does feel that way. Who normally plays Vala for them, too? That's part of the question. I think it is Zuna.
It's either Zuna is going to play the Tyrael, or I think that Zuna is going to be on Tyrael, or I think it'll be big impact. Because there's no way you don't put Tomster on the Greymane, right?
Yes.
So and then I think that Zuna will want to feel like he can carry. Granted, he might feel like that is the Tyrael. But if he is in that carry mentality, he will want to be a backliner, and then that would be the big impact transitioning over.
Yeah, because so far it has been Zuna who's the Vala player of the team. So somebody is switching around a little bit. I guess wait to find out who that's going to be in the team. What do you think of the drafts overall?
I mean, I'm all in favor of Naventic's draft right now. I think they have a lot going for them. I do think that not only did they draft a well-rounded composition, like accents on the map, accents what they like to do, but more than anything, I think the most important thing is the fact that just No Tomorrow, obviously after their first rotation and then moving into their second, when they got those last picks, they're kind of like, we don't have very many answers left. And usually when that happens, means you lost the draft.
Yeah, they don't have a very strong front line, it seems, for a fight, which is a little bit concerning, too. Like, what do they do to even deal with a Sanctification Greymane who is barreling down at you?
Run. That's about it. You just run. You can throw out the blind after he's away from the Sanctification, but it won't be able to last long enough. She can go defensively to be able to get the blind, and that will help a small amount, but I don't think it'll be enough to negate the composition of Naventic has.
When we look at the race, there is Ragnaros, Leeming, Tychus. Do Naventic have to be the ones to defend, or with Vala, Greymane, is it comparable?
It is like early game. It's in favor of actually No Tomorrow, but as the game moves on, it will quickly go in favor of the Greymane composition and just the raw threat and team fight potential they have. If they press the go button, you are dead.
You and I have talked a lot about Greymane builds specifically. Is there
traditional no flask, please? It's a perfect map to run a non-flask oriented build. A lot of people have been favoring it recently, but I do think that there's been it's a very common thing where even if it maybe not is the most optimal, it's just like everybody's running it, so then you see teams consistently be doing it, and I think this is a scenario where the old school build, if you will, would be better.
All right, Wolfheart and into more of the Worgen talents. Well, guys, we are ready for this game number 1 between Team Naventic and No Tomorrow, so we'll see you inside.
So here we go. On the left-hand side is Naventic, where Kenma is on Malfurion. B-Kid is going to be playing out the ETC. Zuna is going to be the one onto the Tyrael, kicking it old school. Big impact on Vala. And last is Tomster on the classic Greymane for him.
That's where Tomster earned the nickname T-God. In the red, the members of No Tomorrow. Tiger JK will be playing Rhaegar. Airho will be on Johanna. Talking Trees playing one of his bays, his favorites, Li Ming. Casanova will be playing Ragnaros, the newcomer to the team. And finally, Jason, of course, as always, playing Tychus.
And already, no flask build. Let's go. Tomster here, playing the more traditional route there with the Wolfheart at 1.
And Monster Hunter, too. So a Hungering Arrow build from Bala. The one Battleground, we see it. At least in North America. Chris, we gotta consider Chris.
Yeah, they'll be doing their own things there with the Bala Q build specifically. But other than that, everything is very standard when it comes to the talent choices so far here for these teams.
I'm waiting to see if my favorite keys of the game. Oh, it didn't make it on there. I want Talking Trees to be taken to Reset City.
He's on it. By
his team. I know, he's on Li Ming. That is, man, I just remember so many plays when Talking Trees was on Gust or Bust, playing as Li Ming. Games that should not have been won because his Li Ming has always been just such a staple for him and for whatever team he's on.
B-Kid with a very aggressive transition there. Tomster now going in. And the root is going to put him in a tough spot. Tomster in the 2v1. He still is going to be able to get the disengage out.
Jason going ham.
Yeah.
And now going back.
Yeah, they're going to end up getting the back here. The map is going to be spawned soon, but it's fine for them. They're in a decent position. And Zuna, as always, he is just not losing the lane. That's what Tyrael does, really, for the most part, is just not lose the lane. He can't really stop Ragnaros from getting the stacks very well, but they might be able to bait this initiation.
Nice power slide on to Casanova from B-Kid. There is the movement speed. Zuna's fight.
Yeah, he's going to get the kill there. Very well done. But Tomster is in a tough spot. Nobody to leap to. That minion died, so he couldn't get it, but he will barely be able to survive.
But the Immortal phase is starting off with Naventic having to use well tap. So that is a nice little win for No Tomorrow, even though they did lose Ragnaros. Jason goes in after Tomster. Zuna is trying to zone away. And for now, No Tomorrow looks to defend their Immortal.
Yeah, and No Tomorrow, surprisingly, they're going to be more on the defensive. They should be, right here in this middle ground, and just using their poke and harass over the long run and hoping that they can really catch, essentially, Naventic off guard. Because Naventic's comp is decent in the race if you go blow for blow, but they can't skirmish that well up until post 10. When you hit 10, that's when, you press the go button and things hurt. But up until that point, the skirmishing of Li Ming, Rhaegar, and Tychus should really be enough here, and the defensive tools on the side of Johanna with her wave clear, Ragnaros clearing the side lanes. Everything about, No Tomorrow is just about the poke, buying time, and just hoping they get a lead before 10 hits.
I was just standing here with a confused look on my face at Jason's positioning throughout this mid phase. He's so far over close to Team Naventic's side of the base. Naventic's looking to be able to start this engagement. Power slide follow-up from the entangling roots to Tomster. Can he get disengaged? He's moving on out, trying to get back. B-Kid's going to go down, though, and there it is with the Meteor. It's going to be the first kill of the game for No Tomorrow. May not be the last. Big Impact gets a heal up from Kenma, and Naventic has to regroup.
And Jason's been doing work, putting Zuna completely away from the fight, and you absolutely need him in this early game. If Tyrael is not with the Greymane, they really don't have too much kill potential. Vala with Q build isn't anywhere near the power spike that it needs to be this early on. It struggles. Obviously, it does well in the race, but when it comes to killing the heroes, not necessarily the greatest thing in the world here, as Naventic now is just going to go on full defensive mode. Greymane is the only one who can really pull away on the 1-4. Bala, I guess, can too. Probably in the best interest to use Greymane, though, because his raw damage output is significantly higher. But No Tomorrow's in a pretty spot.
Greymane picked up Thick Skin. No, that's Eyes in the Dark. So he will be able to get stealth for 3 seconds after he disengages, which may make all the difference of him being able to stay alive, especially the way that No Tomorrow has been going after Greymane so far. No Tomorrow just slowly racing down the Immortal. They should see that someone's gone back. They have Greymane down, so now No Tomorrow gets a little more aggressive, but in the back line, B-Kid's jumping down onto Tiger JK.
Yeah, and B-Kid is in a really tough spot here. Li Ming throwing out the spells, not confirming the kill, and in fact, Tiger JK is the one that goes down. That's going to be one reset here for Trees. Will he look for more? In fact, he stays back. They're going to consider the focus onto the Immortal, and this is going to be a 3/4 shield Immortal here already. 5 minutes in the game. No Tomorrow getting an Immortal on Battlefield of Eternity over Naventic this early on. Granted, Naventic's comp usually wants to wait, but it shouldn't have been that lopsided. Very well done here for No Tomorrow.
Yeah, and it all goes back to the start of that, where No Tomorrow, even though they lost Ragnaros, applied enough pressure to make Team Naventic have to go back, use their well taps, generally heal back up, and let No Tomorrow still get into a better position that they could get the first part of that phase. They always know that it's going to be that the Immortals will spawn in a defensive position following the first half in this first phase. So very well done by No Tomorrow, and that will net them up for a couple towers and their level 7s, a level ahead of Team Naventic.
Yeah, but again, Naventic's 10 spike is really all they want, minimizing the losses up until that point. So we'll see what No Tomorrow is going to be able to get, as the shield has been removed. The keep wall is the last thing that's going to be stopping it here. Ragnaros is still remaining, getting that soak in the top lane as Zuna transitioned down, showing they maybe wanted to get that chase in the fight using Smite to pursue the enemy there. But very well scouted on the side of No Tomorrow as they're going to back out, paint the map red, and things are looking pretty.
They are looking pretty. That middle phase was played so well. Jason looked like he was in an aggressive position by keeping tabs on Zuna and the rest of the team, getting ahead in a level, getting some mercenary camps on the board, and then can start to look toward their bruisers and a level 10 before this next mortal phase.
Zuna is soaking in the top lane. 9's going to be picked up pretty quick here as B-Kid scouts this transition for No Tomorrow. He's going to be just fine. It's really just a waiting game for the Immortals at this point. There's not enough objectives, nor do either one of these comps really siege well enough without a power spike over their opponents to really justify these transitions. Zuna is going to scout this, though. Ragnaros is low to this rotation, so this might be a moment for Naventic to be aggressive as they have now moved themselves onto the camp. Ragnaros is staying in bottom, so this is a camp for free handed over here from No Tomorrow for Naventic. But I mean, it makes sense. It's not like the camp's really going to do much. I would be more worried about the experience as well.
Yeah, don't give up any experience. You can deal with the camp pretty easily as No Tomorrow, and having Ragnaros in the bottom getting experience has gotten No Tomorrow even closer to heroic abilities. The only way that Naventic could have caught up to that point, the point that No Tomorrow are in, are if somebody from No Tomorrow got caught in that. So well done for both teams. Naventic looking for the kill, but No Tomorrow playing it patiently, and they're rewarded for their efforts. Heroic abilities are almost online. Zuna is trying to stall out at the bruiser camp.
No way. He's going to be going down if he even flies over to the other side there. Actually, it's only Urho to get the peel, but 10's picked up so soon. One kill could lead to that level 10 here. B-Kid's under pressure. The Immortal's going to get that spin out there. And this is a small window for Naventic to make an answer. Honestly, the fact that Naventic hasn't forfeited this for soak is a very frequent mistake, in my opinion, that we see Naventic make. They're constantly like, this is a tiny window. When can we get the kill?
Power slide.
And somehow they're going to manage to make it happen there as Jason gets caught out.
Just before heroic abilities for No Tomorrow too. No Tychus. Naventic are going to rotate back. If No Tomorrow realize this in time, they can start to race down the Immortal. They still have Talking Trees. And yes, she'll be able to start throwing out her abilities over the wall. So it still should be pretty even, but the important difference is Tychus is back in 2 seconds and heroic abilities are here for No Tomorrow.
Yeah, that was a colossal misplay on the side of Jason. It has got a moment for Naventic to be able to breathe, but again, that Shaman camp pressuring into the top lane, nobody's answer to, and now they don't have their heroics, so the defense is really kind of just unfeasible here for Naventic, and this Immortal is going to be pressuring down while Naventic is not soaking for 10. They are doing nothing to be able to catch up in experience. They do this all the time. It's very, very surprising and honestly quite frustrating at times.
Naventic have only been able to bait out a couple heroic abilities. That was a giant Empower Sulfuris from Ragnaros. Ragnaros may go down, but he's taking Greymane with him if he does.
Very weak. He's got to back out. And it looks like this is going to be Naventic ended up losing one person. The Immortal is going to be cleaned up here by No Tomorrow. One misplay on the side of Jason. Again, it gave us a second for Naventic to really kind of catch up a little bit, stop the bleeding, but in the end, this is going to be No Tomorrow here with this level 10, with their Immortal. And
Bruisers took down the 4 up and top the whole time. Nobody from Naventic cleared it out. Nobody was soaking. Naventic need 10 and fast. And you could see ETC is soaking in the bottom. B-Kid's trying to get heroic abilities for his team. Then he can stage dive in, and maybe Naventic can win a team fight off of that to put themselves back into this game.
And they are going to be able to get 10 barely on Naventic, well, as this Immortal is just coming up to the front wall. There it is. Trickle down is going to be enough scrape. We do see Sanctification, go for the throw, Mosh Pit, and Twilight Dream. Very standard here. Sidewall is going to be removed there by Talking Trees. The shielding has been removed already here onto the Immortal, and there's 12 is about to be picked up for No Tomorrow. I'm surprised how patient we see No Tomorrow being right now. Not trying to get that harass out onto Zuna, onto any of the front line. They're just, you know, they're going to throw out the spells and they're going to be comfortable with half their keep.
Well, it's not like there's any sort of mule to heal back. As I said yesterday, it is a official damage that Naventic took on their keep. Now Naventic is looking for a fight. They know that they have this window of time, this level before No Tomorrow. Again, it is above them in talent tier advantages. No Tomorrow have to know that Naventic are going to come in here. Can they stop them, though? B-Kid goes after Tiger JK as the Rhaegar. He's going to have to run all the way around from the side. Beautiful Sulfurous Smash. No Ice Block to save you right now, Kenma. Sanctification used.
Yes, Nova gets the Ancestral off by Tiger JK, and it lands. Moshpit's going to whiff there as the cleanse for Tiger JK pulls them away. Zuna's in a bad spot. What looked like a pretty engagement for Naventic suddenly turns around. No Tomorrow fighting like there in fact is No Tomorrow. Very well done.
Take me down to Reset City. Biggie's gonna drop 2. Casanova's going for the chase. Has movement speed, doesn't want to go underneath the keep though. Instead, No Tomorrow will be more than happy with 4 kills and a keep. Oh, Entangling Roots, Airho.
He's down, but that's so worth it. And Kemba blowing Twilight Dream there was not worth, considering the fact that that was an 85-second cooldown that confirmed no kills, and the map objective should spawn before that comes up.
Guys?
So the root is not in range yet. Tiger JK can, all right, there's fine. But again, so if Twilight Dream does not come off cooldown, oh my gosh, he has dismounted them long enough. Are they going to get this?
Oh.
No. Nope.
Crowd Surfer. That puts Power Slide off.
But again, now Twilight Dream's on cooldown. That was why I questioned, you know, the Twilight Dream choice there for Kenma at the keep. The root was really, you know, well done. She could play, but now 5 versus 5, 13 talent tier advantage. The Immortals are going to be spawning. Both teams backing out, getting their Shaman Camp at the appropriate time. And now the skirmish is going to begin.
Look at the lanes. 11 minutes into this game, and both are pushed back so far onto Team Naventic's side of the Battleground. Teams grabbing bruisers, healing up, getting ready for the next Immortal phase, but it's No Tomorrow who have all of their heroic abilities once Ancestral's offline or online in 7 seconds, whereas you still have 25 seconds for both Mosh Pit and Malfurion's Twilight Dream.
Yeah, that last team fight was so beautiful on the side of No Tomorrow. The counter response that they really made there after the force engage, and then the lack of the root hitting onto Tiger JK, him rotating around, getting the Ancestral peeling for the team. Everything here has been beautiful. But that is going to be a blessed shield used. Twilight Dream and Mosh Pit have managed to be able to make it off of cooldown here. Sulfurous Smash is down as well, so things are not looking good for No Tomorrow here.
So Beacon went in for a power slide, but Mosh wasn't quite there, and I think Cleanse was used on it too, so maybe a little bit of a miscommunication as to what was happening. Meanwhile, Bruisers are on the core of Team Naventic, and Tiger JK, all of the rest of No Tomorrow trying to force this swap.
Yeah, and Zuna's going in there. There's going to be the Sank in the Mosh, but it only hits onto 2 targets. 1 target, Twilight Dream, is used. Nobody ends up dying in that combo, and Topster is going to be deleted. 1 reset here for Talking Trees, and what looked like a successful beginning of a fight ended up again turning very quickly here against Naventic.
Welcome to the world of Resilient Flame on Ragnaros. Once 13 hits, if he gets rooted or stunned,
by the way, we have 4 damage
stunned.
coming in with 2 catapults on the floor, by the way.
50 armor, yeah. 2 catapults. The Bruisers have been pushing. We're pushing up there the entire time, too. Nobody's gone back.
Oh, he got distracted.
Minions will clear him.
Give him a second.
Get the tower.
He'll be back. Yeah, so only 6%, sadly. But Naventic, they have the, you know, the go button. They've been pressing it, just not all at the same time. It is a very difficult composition to run, don't get me wrong. But it is not working out so far, and it all started with that Immortal very early on, a couple of picks.
I want to point out, though, too, that No Tomorrow seem like they've found whatever comfort they need.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It did happen for them for Superstars in the first game, too, where they were ahead, and when they were ahead, they were fine. It was when they got behind that the problems arose. Iron Skin used for Airho that should be able to power slide in. No power slide just afterward, but doesn't matter. Entangling Roots to zone. Sulfurous Smash goes down. Johanna drops, but how many people from Naventic are so low? Can they even continue this defense? Talking Trees just melting the health bar of the Immortal. Ancestral Healing misses, so Ragnaros will go down too, but Trees can still siege over the wall.
Yeah, and Talking Trees is actually going to get pinned in there. Good teleport will get him away from the root there. Now we see Tiger JK is in the focus. He ends up using the mount up, so now he might not be able to survive. Sanctification completely wasted here. Zuna on pursuit with that smite, but not enough damage to get the kill. Greymane has pulled back to try and make the transition. Twilight Dream again is going to be used, and Talking Trees is going to throw that. Oh, 220 damage. Just anything. There's the nade. My goodness, this game. What is it?
Just the in-your-face Twilight dreams are killing me, man.
Oh my goodness. It's just like
What's up?
anytime he can get
Oh,
the
I guess
skirmish
you're fine.
going, he's pressing the button. He's trying to carry, you know? As a supporter, he wants to do the damages. He wants to hurt the opponent. Sadly, he's only hurting one at a time here. Kemba is struggling. Top keep is down. 3 catapults are slowly going to be sieging on top. This Immortal now sitting there at the 30 to 40% shielding. 16 talent share is going to be picked up right after that turret. And things are not looking good. And Naventic has to find an answer, as this keep might be... It's definitely going down. The question is it going to be a core play if they end up losing 1 to 2 heroes with this many cooldowns down?
This has been such a pretty game for No Tomorrow. Let's see if they can close it out here. Beacon wants to jump in, but now gets stunned by the Immortal instead. Sulfurous Smash goes down. Clint's trying to help out Zuna. He jumps away. Doesn't have Sanctification a little while longer. Interior will just drop. Still Odin is available for No Tomorrow,
Molten
as is
Core.
Molten Core. The siege of the core will begin.
Yeah, and so let's see what Jason and Molten Core is going to be able to do with this Odin at long range. Shields are still yet to be dropped. Tyrio's up in 21 seconds. Twilight Dream just now has come off cooldown. Straight's going to be used, weakening everyone. Urho gets the deletion there. Vala ends up dropping. The shield as well, 80%, 78%, and it looks like No Tomorrow is going to be pretty comfortable with being able to take this. 51 demolished onto the split. Twilight Dream use only going to hit Johanna once more. Tomster goes down. Trees gets a reset, and that is it, Gilly. Convincing fashion, never letting go. No Tomorrow takes it over Naventic.
A beautiful game from No Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
On Naventic's Battleground of choice, no less. Very well executed. And you know what was great from them too is they didn't change anything up, a crazy difference in drafting. It was just a difference of mindset, maybe even, that
Yeah.
they come in with the same exact picks that they have been picking before, and everything works out in their favor this time.
Yeah, and I'm pretty comfortable with saying that No Tomorrow by far has the best understanding how to use Sulfurous Smash out of any team in North America. They're the only ones who are legitimately, every time a CC happens on anybody, they're like, what if we just do half of their HP and CC them even longer? Like, they don't wait, and that's the one thing that has amazed me, like, especially when watching Europe. It's like one CC hit's done. Any Condemn comes out, bam, is going to drop, hits 3 people. Suddenly what looked like a maybe good initiation, it just doesn't stand a chance. It happened, the very first momentum they got was off that fight on top. Sulfurous Smash started it. The next one, Condemn into Sulfurous. Next on bottom keep, happen again. 3 fights, 3 Sulfurous Smash, GG. Very
No
well done.
Tomorrow never let go of that game,
No.
and that gave them game number 1 versus Naventic.